Jeremy Hunt. Congratulations, I think. The public finances we know are in a mess, a 60 billion black hole before the reversal of the decision not to increase corporation tax raising about £18 billion. What we're going to see is a combination of spending cuts and tax rises.
Well, I know that the instability that we've had in the last few weeks has been immensely worrying for families up and down the country with mortgages. And chancellors can't control markets, as you know better than anyone, Robert. But what we can do is give the markets confidence that we are accounting for every penny of our tax and spending plans. And after I've been talking to you, I'm going to sit down with my Treasury officials this morning, go through everything in detail with the Prime Minister tomorrow at Chequers.
But the Prime Minister's already said that public spending is going to have to be cut, so that is obviously part of what you're going to have to look at over the next week.
What I want to be honest with people is the direction of travel. We're going to have to make difficult decisions on spending. It won't go up by as much as people want. We're going to ask everyone for more efficiency savings, but there are going to be difficult decisions on tax as well. They won't come down as quickly as thought. Some taxes will go up. Across the board, it's going to be difficult. The one thing that I want to say to people who are worrying about these difficult decisions is that the values that we will see every decision through are to protect families, businesses that are struggling, to protect the most vulnerable people. This is a compassionate Conservative government, and we'll be thinking of those people as we take these decisions. And the one other thing I would say is that, difficult though it is, I'm doing this job because I have real long-term confidence in Britain, in our economy. We have 4 of the world's top 10 universities, the biggest technology sector in Europe. There's a lot we can do, but we get there because we've been brave enough to take difficult decisions at tough moments, and I'm afraid this is one of those.
The previous Chancellor said that the income tax cut was going to be brought forward a year. Will that definitely be brought forward?
I'm not going to talk about any individual measure. I'd ideally like to keep those tax cuts. I want taxes to be lower, but I have to look at everything in the round on tax and spend, and through every decision, make sure we're doing the right thing for families that are struggling, that are worried, people worried about their mortgage rates, all those things. I want to create the stability that means that as a government, we're doing everything we can to put certainty into family finances.
One of the things you've been clear about is you want to protect the vulnerable. So universal credit presumably will have to go up by 10%, the rate of inflation.
Well, I would love to do it if we can, but I'm not going to make that commitment now, just like I'm not going to make commitments on any front. And I do think there'll be areas of the welfare budget which we could spend more efficiently and still help people who need it. So I'm going to ask every department in government to take a very difficult long look in the mirror. But I'm also going to ask my Conservative colleagues who, like me, really want to get the tax burden down, also to reflect that we have to say if we're going to have tough and difficult decisions, everyone has to bear their share of that difficulty in this tough time.
Kwasi Kwarteng was sacked by the Prime Minister because he didn't have the confidence of the markets. One of the striking things was after the Prime Minister's press conference yesterday, bond prices fell very sharply. She doesn't have the confidence of the markets. She can't survive, can she?
Well, I can't explain how the markets work, but what I would say is the biggest thing that my officials tell me the markets want is stability over the public finances. That people want to understand how we're going to pay. That's my job as Chancellor. I think we need to recognise that the previous Chancellor did a very important thing with the energy price cap. Energy bills were heading for £6,500, and for the average family that will be kept down at £2,500. That's going to make an enormous difference to families up and down the country. But it was a mistake to fly blind, to publish those plans without the independent auditing of the Office for Budget Responsibility, and that's something we're going to put right in the next couple of weeks.
She can't sack you. I mean, you are there to save her, so you're the strongest Chancellor, actually, forever.
Well, I don't really buy that analysis. We're a team. I'm doing this job because I want to serve the country in very, very difficult circumstances. I recognise the political challenges, the economic challenges that we face.
Does it matter to you that she survives?
I'm not going to be taking these decisions on my own. I'm going to be taking them as a team. And if you ask me about her future, yes, I do want her to survive, because I think the last thing the country wants is another period of prolonged political instability. We've had a long and quite bruising Conservative leadership campaign. I think what the country wants is us to now get on, and then at the general election, they'll make their decision as to whether we've been doing a good job or not.
And we're also almost out of time. Just one final very quick question. The event on October the 31st, the medium-term fiscal plan, to all intents and purposes now, that's a proper budget, isn't it?
Pretty much so. You know, we're going to be talking about tax, we're going to be talking about spending, we're going to be talking about medium and long-term plans. These are unprecedented times, and that's why we need to do this.
Jeremy Hunt, really good to see you.
Thank you.